guys, I was asked if I would make a general video on Godspousing instead of the specific one on Loki, and I'm more than delighted to do it because I think more people should talk about it. If you don't like it, I don't want to hear from you. I'm obviously a person that believes in it, or I wouldn't be making a video on it. Um, the person asked, how do you know that a god wants you for their spouse? It's a lot like in Voodoo, actually. They'll start sending you signs, and they'll start sending you unmistakable marriage, marriage proposals, or like things that you're going to associate with them courting you. Now, this has gone very from God to God and relationship to relationship, so I can't tell you, like, what the specific signs would be, but they could be absolutely anything. I mean, like a song, an object that you find, just something you notice, just things cropping up. And the person was concerned, how do you know it's not wishful thinking? How do you know you're not making the signs appear? Well, that's actually a good sign, and I'd say you, approach the god and you say, well, if you truly do wish to be married, and, you find the idea compatible, ask for a really, really concrete, I can't miss it sign. That's totally legitimate. If a god wants to marry you, and they get miffed that you ask for a totally, totally specific sign, then you're probably not going to be compatible anyways. But to go on in general about Godspousery, once you have confirmed that this god does wish to marry you, and you wish to marry them, it varies widely from people to people. Some people might want a marriage contract and this sounds mercenary, but it's a practice in Voodoo, and it's a good practice for some people to have if this makes you comfortable. Have a marriage contract. Have the god say, well, the god will say, well, I'm willing to do this during the marriage, and you'll say, I'm willing to do this during the marriage. Because it's for life. It's for keeps. It's not for 5 months or 6 months or 4 years or whatever. It is for life. And another way, once you get married, however you go through it, if you have someone else perform the ceremony or you simply accept that you're married, you get into the day-to-day routine of what the marriage will entail. And again, this is different from case by case, but in my personal experience, you're going to be cooking. You will have to cook for and take care of and love and attend to your spouse, because they're not only your god now, they're your spouse. You're going to have to be keeping the temple area clean. That's a given. It's just like you would treat a human spouse, just like you would treat a human marriage. You will spend time together. For some people, that's the hard part, I think, to actually wrap their head around. I mean, after the initial excitement wears off, they're like, they don't know where to go with it. Well, it's just, think of it just like, a mortal spouse. Take walks in the park, read to your god, do whatever, pleases your god. I can't speak for your god, so I don't know what pleases them, but you'll spend time doing that. As for intimate relationship, that's entirely up to you. That's not something I can touch upon. Like, some people have it, some people don't. It's just like, a lot of people do refer to it like a voodoo marriage, and I said that before, and it is a lot of ways like it, because some people will have a sexual aspect to the marriage and some people won't. And again, it is entirely up to you too, how you go about that. Other things would be, you have to really sit down and figure out, is this going to be an open marriage? If you want to still be, with other people, and you're like, well, I want marry this god, but I don't want to stop dating people or whatever. You have to be honest about that. And you have to see if it's negotiable. Some gods are going to be just fine with an open marriage, some aren't. And again, it'll be a case-by-case basis. They might let this person have open marriage and say no to this person and then say yes to this person. It is really individualistic. And I would just say, it is something serious. It is, it is wonderful. It is a blessing, but it is also, it is like any other marriage. It is a lot of work. You become almost like high priest, priestess, whatever you want to call. You don't have to give yourself a fancy title, but you're going to be doing absolutely everything you can for your God once you're married. And I think some people forget that, because like when people aren't married to a God, they can kind of like skip in and out, and you're not going to have that freedom. And your spouse will have the right, as much as it chafes humans and puts a burr under their saddle, to tell you yes and no on certain things, because you are married and they are the God, in case you've forgotten. Um, but I hope that answers some general things. And it's nothing to be scared of. I don't want you guys scared and to think it's like, oh God, it's just making it sound like this huge, boring responsibility. It's actually really wonderful if you're with a spouse that you're in love with, but it's like, it is a lot of responsibility. It is a lot of service. And no, your marriage doesn't belong to the community. You don't have to start becoming the magical ATM of the community. I know a lot of people that will say they don't believe in Godspousery, and it's shameful to do, but then they're standing there with their hand stuck out and saying, well, give me. It's like, no, you wouldn't do that to two mortal married people. You don't get to do it to a God and their spouse. So I hope that helps. I really do. If you have any more like specific questions I didn't touch, um, please let me know below. But I'm glad someone asked, because it's something wonderful to enter into, and you'll be really, really happy if you marry a God you love, and you're going to make the commitment. Yes, you will have good days and bad days, but I don't think we cover it enough, those of us who are God spouses, or I use the term married. I've never used the term God spouse. It's a new one on me. We don't cover it because there's so much hate and there's so much shade in the community, and it shouldn't be like that. People should know, well, hey, this thing you're jealous of, it's a lot of work, and it's a relationship like any other. It doesn't make you higher in the eyes of the God or lower or anything else. And people that are jealous of your marriage, just, let the baby have their bottle, just ignore their static, and if you're really upset, then you can go and talk to your spouse. That's a good thing. It's just like if it's exactly like having a mortal spouse. If the neighbor was like really jealous of you being married to a mortal spouse, you can go to your spouse and say, hey, I'm really concerned because this neighbor keeps throwing shade our way, and is specifically at me and hates me for being married to you. Then the spouse might actually step in and do something, because you are married and they are going to protect you. They do love you. So I hope that helped. Yeah, I know I keep saying that because I keep trying to wind this up, but I keep like remembering one more thing and one more thing, and it's like there's just so much. You could do like 4-hour video on this and not scratch the surface, but I just wanted to get this out there for you, because I was excited to be able to answer it and be able to talk about it and be able to try to combat some of the negativity. So no, you're not crazy. You're not making things up. You're not just seeing things because you want to. You're not just manifesting signs. If you want to be sure, ask your God, and ask for a sign you can't miss. And then you just have to take it on faith, like everything else with our gods. And if you want to make sure, talk to the gods that know them, talk to other people that know them, talk to people that have been married to them. Usually every god on the planet has, people that are married to them or serve them in that capacity, whether they use the word married or not. And I hope that helps. I'll give you a link to the first video, which covers more. And if you like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.